Looking for MUT22 coins? AOEAH.com has the cheapest and most reliable coins on the market. Click the link in the description and use coupon code SPORTS for 3% off your order. Are you struggling on defense in Madden 22? If so, make sure to watch this video because I'm about to break down the only defense you need to stop both the run and the pass. Yo, what's up YouTube? It's Duke, back here from Sportsgamerz.com. In today's Madden 22 tip video, I'm going to break down a super easy defense to set up that will lock down the run and the pass. If you're struggling to stop all those pesky deep corners, crossers, one-play touchdowns, etc., the meta you see online, you're going to want to watch this video. So we're going to be looking at the nickel 2-4-5 odd. This formation can be found in many playbooks defensively. I personally like the Bucks. Now, we're going to show you a defense that will work no matter what system you play on, PlayStation or Xbox, it doesn't matter. I'm in a real game here, so I can show you guys my coaching adjustments, my zone drops, my subs, all of that. So let's look at the subs first. This defense, we're really going to be rushing 4 players. So I want to make sure that my 3 down linemen, and where number 55 Chandler Jones is this edge rusher, that they're solid, that they can get pressure on the quarterback. So I'm subbing J.J. Watt. I got the Cardinals here. Now, these 2 guys right here, the linebackers, you can put safeties in the game here, especially if you play mud. I'd recommend doing that because your backup safety should be good. You can get the speed boost and all that. If you're playing regs, it kind of just depends upon the team. Obviously, like Isaiah Simmons, you definitely got to keep him in the game. He's really good. Other than that, I mean, we could sub in a safety for 25. No big deal. So the subs aren't really a big deal, but you do want to make sure, because we're going to be rushing 4, that your D-line is definitely, and your edge rush are going to get some pressure. So as far as coaching adjustments, these are the best ones to use for the defense I'm about to show you guys. And this is going to be a cover 4 base. We're going to run with auto flip on, and it's going to be a zone drop. It's not going to be match. But auto flip on, I like to, for ball in the air defense, I like to put it on play ball. I just think that helps me get more interceptions that way. We're going to go ahead and put our zone drops for flats on 30, curl flats for 5, and hooks for 10. So we're going to show several different examples of this defense. The play is going to be the cover 4 drop. This is a zone drop defense. So what that means is we're dropping to a certain spot on the field. We are not going to be matching. So let's start with these deep corner routes. Bunch tight end, y'all know, has a few of them, but one of the more common ones is the curl flat corner. Let's kind of break down all the adjustments I do on this play. Before I do that, I do want to remind you guys, if you enjoy my free YouTube content, I do Madden 22 videos on a daily basis from tips, news, and gameplay. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video. If we could get to 300 likes on this video, we'll post another fire defensive tip, and comment. All that stuff does help me out a lot as a content creator. So the adjustments you want to do to this defense are as follows. We're going to first base align, which is coverage audible, and then to the right on the left stick, and press, which is again just down on the left stick. This is going to help out a lot with the alignment of the defense, defending a lot of the more popular things like crossers, corners, etc., etc. Now, I user one of the hook curls. Now, just kind of depends what they're doing. If they're going to run the ball, you guys know, if you user out of the 2-4-5 odd, you should know anyways, kind of in this area right here, you can kind of shoot in the backfield a lot and blow stuff up. But I only worry about that if they want to run the ball. If they're not running the ball, you can control the other one. It really doesn't matter, but that's all up to you. Now, what I definitely do recommend doing is putting your outside corner on the bunch side of the formation, or whatever the strong side of the offensive formation is that they could be running their deep corners to. Put that player in a cloud flat. Now, the reason why we're going to do this is because, remember, we zone drop our actual flats to 30. So if we go to put the corner on the left of the screen in cloud flat, we now have a 5-yard flat with Murphy, and then a 30-yard flat with Hamilton. Next thing we're going to do is the safety on the same side of the field, so we don't get beat over top. We're going to put him in a deep half, and the opposite safety, we're going to put him in an inside third. This is going to close off the middle of the field very well. Now, I always anyways, like to rush this edge player right here, Jones, because if you don't, you're only rushing 3 and you're not going to get good pressure. Now, the last thing I'll do is either one of 2 things. If I want to keep that quarter zone over there, I'm going to go ahead and put this guy right here into a curl flat to replace the flat I just blitzed. If I want to keep the hook curl, I'm going to put him in a cloud flat, so once again, he's kind of in a 30-yard flat. So, they're not showing any of my adjustments right here. The play art is glitched. I'm going to show you guys the adjustments. Like, I'll show it to you again after this play. But first, I just want to show you guys how this locks up this route combo. So, you guys know this is a very common combo people do. Watch how easily this locks it up. You guys can see here, there's nothing open. They try to chuck this corner. That's most likely going to get picked off, guys. Take a look at the replay again. When you baseline and press a 30-yard cloud, it's very hard to get over the top of. It's going to be one of those situations where you're going to have an extremely deep crosser and roll out. Even you guys can see a deep corner out here. I mean, even if we were to roll out, we're not getting over the top of it. Look at how he's playing it. And again, this is because he's getting this depth to the sideline, is because we baseline and pressed. If we would have just kept him in tight without baselining and pressing, he would have got ran by, because he would have been starting in his zone in the middle of the field, whereas because we baseline and press, he's much closer to the sideline. So it's a lot harder to run by him. I mean, you could potentially do it on a deep crosser. If you're enjoying my YouTube content, I highly recommend you check out sportsgamerz.com. This is where I post all my premium Madden 22 content. I have ebooks, offensive and defensive schemes, plus I do 4 to 6 premium tips every week in the Madden Vault. This content is available for both current and next gen, so no matter what system you play on, we got you guys covered. Our best offer yet is the Sportsgamerz Madden VIP membership. This gives you access to the entire site, every tip, every ebook, plus the meta reports for only $19.99. I'll post a link to it in the description and the comments. Make sure to check it out for the best tips and content available at the best price anywhere. Alright guys, so because my play art got glitched and you could not see my adjustments, the last play, I actually want to do that again. So remember, auto flip is going to be on, zone drops for flats are at 30, curl flats are at 5, and hooks are at 10. Again, the play is the nickel 2-4-5 odd, cover 4 drop. So let's go ahead and pick the curl flat corner again. Remember, we baseline and press first. We control one of the inside linebackers. If you're worried about the run, you can get this guy and stand over in this gap and shoot down. But on the strong side of the offensive formation, meaning wherever the most receivers are, basically. If they got 3 receivers on one side, that's obviously the strong side. That's the left here. And that's basically going to be the side your nickel corner's on, because the nickel corner will always go to the strong side with auto flip on. So remember, because our curl flats are at 5 yards, that means they're going to defend a quick flat. So on the strong side, outside corner, you put them in a cloud flat, and you deep half the safety on the same side. So those are the first 2 adjustments. Then you go ahead and you put the opposite safety in an inside third. Again, that shuts the middle of the field off. And you always want to blitz the curl flat edge rusher, I think anyways, to get 4 rushers so you get more pressure. So I can do that very, very fast. And at this point, you have options. You can leave it as is. You could put your outside corner in a cloud flat on the right side of the screen. You could go ahead and put what I like to do normally is put the hook curl in a curl flat and just leave the outside corner in the quarter on the right. This is normally how I like to play it. And then really, I'm just responsible for the middle of the field. Now guys, like I said, this same setup will also allow you to stop the run. You know, it's not one of them setups to where if they run the ball, you're screwed. Because again, with your user, you can always blow that run up if you just stand in this little spot right here. So if they do run an inside zone, whatever the case may be, just be aware of it. You want to shoot down with your user, and you're kind of in the gap right there. You could see the slot receiver try to block me a little bit, but normally that doesn't even happen. But what does happen is the O-line doesn't really realize that you could even be, get into the play here. And because of that, see how that huge gap opens between the guard and the tackle? Shoot in, make the tackle. Now, I do want to show you how this would work against some other plays. So, for instance, PA boot over. This is a little bit different, right? So, we're going to go ahead and flip the formation. And if they flip, you flip right with them. Baseline and press. And it's going to be the same thing. We're going to go ahead, deep half the safety on the bunch side. Cloud the corner on the bunch side. Inside third, the opposite safety. And then we're going to put the linebacker we're not controlling in a curl flat and rush that edge rusher. Again, it could sound like a lot of steps, but, it is really, really easy to do. And here's everyone's favorite play, PA boot over. So, at this point, what you're going to want to do is very simple. because you have that curl flat, opposite the bunch, you know that the flat is taken away. Therefore, your responsibility is going to be the crosser. You guys can see the crosser's not even open anyways. If you take a look at the replay, you'll see that baseline and press on that quarter zone did a very good job of taking that away. He got underneath it. Now, the only reason why I went to guard it is just because nothing else was open anyways. So, there really wasn't anything to worry about. But you guys can see what I mean. Opposite side crossing route going against a baseline press quarter. The quarter actually defends it pretty good. You're able to get underneath it most of the time. And again, I don't have any great corners here. This is just regs. But you could imagine playing mud with really good corners. You got super tall corners that can make plays. They're not going to want to throw these routes. I can promise you guys that. So I do want to show this against a few other looks, especially just regular gun bunch. So this is also very effective defense against just regular old gun bunch. A lot of people want to run, similar concepts from gun bunch. When you have corners, you have, like a play like bunch trail. That's a very, very popular play, right? That can bomb you with the post, but still have a corner route. So let's take a look at how the same setup will defend this very well. All right, so again, we're going to base it. Now, we are going to go ahead and flip our bunch just to get it on the wide side. We're going to baseline and press. Again, if they flip, you flip with them. Baseline and press. We're going to go ahead and do the same adjustments, really. We blitz this guy right here. Again, you always want 4 rushers. We're going to cloud flat this guy. Deep half this guy. Inside third this guy. At this point, you have options, guys. What I normally like to do going up against gun bunch, and the reason for this is because verticals is just such a popular play, is I like to take the hook curl I'm not using, and I just man up the tight end. Normally when I'm going up against bunch, I use the hook curl on the running back side. The reason for this is simple. If they end up running a play like mesh spot that has a seam wheel to the running back, I can just use it myself, and then I have the tight end manned up. If they happen to run, say, a play like verticals, I can guard the seam route. Now, I will say, guys, if you think that they're going to run verticals, what I like to do is just leave the outside quartered zone, because if they're going to run verticals, I promise you that is way smarter is just to leave this guy over here in the quarter zone. Because, the verticals route will even run by a 30-yard cloud flat. So, if they're just going to run corner routes, though, I definitely don't mind just leaving the 30-yard cloud, because really, corner routes out of bunch, I don't worry too much about getting behind it, unless they just have forever in the pocket, which they really shouldn't. But yeah, let's take a look at how this works. You guys can see, I just kind of watch that middle of the field area, take away the drag. And there's really not much open. I will say, if they happen to run a play, like I said, verticals to where they have that very deep wheel, but take a look here, I just guard the middle and, take that drag away. The corner route here, you could try to hit this on the sideline because this is a shorter corner. Bunch trail corner is not designed to go deep. It's a little bit shorter. Because really what you're trying to do is get this deep post open for a one-play touchdown. But you guys can see of my adjustments to the safety zones that was taken away. You could potentially have to watch for the wheel or shorter corner routes. I want you guys to see how verticals would work, because, that is a very, very common play. Probably the most common play you're going to face, to be quite honest. So, again, we're going to audible the verticals, and we're going to flip. I will say that if you suspect verticals, all I do is man up the tight end with this little hook curl. That is it. That is all I do. Because at this point, all my job will be is to watch for the crossing route. I could, if I wanted to, take away the tight end with my user, but I just feel like manning him up is a lot smarter, because, you have to worry about the crossing route as well. That is always the biggest threat, in my opinion, when playing against gun bunch. So here, we're going to take a look at it. We have the tight end manned up, and that's it. So take a look here. I just watched for the crossing route, and you guys can see there's really not anything open here. If they try to chuck that wheel route, we got somebody right there. It's a pick. The quarter zone, when you baseline and press it, does an outstanding job of taking away the wheel route. When you man that tight end up, you no longer really have to worry about them. Some people are so good with the seam routes that they will still try to force them in there. And if you do go up against a player like that, you might have to manually bait that route. But I personally would much prefer to just guard the crossing route myself. The thing about the crossing route is that even if you do, say, put your zone drop on 30, this crossing route is so deep that it will get behind it. Again, like I said, there's certain crossing routes that you can't even zone drop, and this is one of them, which is why when you go up against gun bunch, personally, I feel it's better to take the tight end away just by manning them up so you can watch for the opposite crossing route yourself, because that's just always going to be a route that gets open if you don't guard it. Bottom line, you can, if you wanted to, just blitz really heavily so they don't have time, but I don't recommend doing that against gun bunch because, again, they have a lot of quick routes that develop fast. So hope you guys enjoyed this tip. Until next time, it's Duke, and I'm out of here.